Hello, and welcome to another day of TA the Degen way. I just wanted to hop on and take a look at Bitcoin and Bitcoin only today. Probably be pretty short and just follow up on my video from yesterday. While I remain bullish, I also have been looking for a very large correction of 15, 20%, 10%, something decent. And we've been getting bearish signals, and I'm waiting and looking for a few things. One of them was 39,000. And if we look at yesterday's candle, and if you go back to yesterday's video, I actually cut it short because I wanted to hop off and short Bitcoin. I've been waiting for a nice solid bearish signal in the candlestick patterns, and when I noticed this daily yesterday, notice how 38,000 was resistance, 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 and resistance, and then finally we broke above it. We made it all the way to 38,454, and down we came and closed below, and then we pushed up here with today's candle. Now it is closed 2 hours ago, and what was the high? Below 38,000. So we wicked up past resistance, came back down, closed below support, came up and retested that resistance again, and now, I would be looking to reject. When you get close to the top, I call it top chop. Look at this. This has really chopped people to death, and that's because people are still bullish, and there's lots of distribution taking place. And 39,000, was pretty much the level I was targeting. And 38,500 is just awfully close. I'm not going to go through why 39,000 at length, but let me get rid of these lines here. This upper range, the whole time we traded inside this square box, the highest volume node was $39,000, and the value area low when we traded inside this trading area up here was 31,500. Now we've been getting heavy bearish divergence on our oscillators, which is where you look for a correction or some continuation patterns. Up until now, I've been seeing continuation patterns. Well, let's look at this here. So what's going on as price goes up? Look at this momentum coming down. Trigger wave, look at this money flow coming down. This VWAP is coming up, trending wise, it trended up, but it already broke to the upside. And as far as this slowing down quickly, we would want to see this to be inverted, like this right here. Look at this VWAP here, how it curves this way. You can tell that these blue waves are getting closer to crossing. That's positive. That means that price action is changing in the other direction quite quickly. But then look at this one. See how it's rounded to the outside. Our current one is rounded to the outside. So that's signaling that it's not looking to just curve right back up right away. You got some nice space in between these still. Now this money flow, there is no divergence in this money flow yet. There is kind of a double top in these waves with a higher high, but we don't have this money flow trending down on the daily. We've got these momentum waves coming down in the daily. And the reason I remain bullish overall for a higher target, which would be the value area high of this upper range, is 48,000. So, you have value area low when we traded inside this box up here previously. price traded in this range before. 39,000 was the highest volume area, the high volume node or POC. 48,000, which let's see, there's 48,000 right there, this high right there. 39K is way down where we're at now. And the value, you know, so that was value area high, point of control or high volume node, and then the value area low of this here was 31,500, which is pretty much our 32K sell wall, you know, that we finally pierced. And you know, now we're looking for confirmation that we have truly flipped this previous resistance level. Here it was resistance, 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 resistance again, came down, busted through it. And now we need to claim that and accept it as support. I mean, we don't need to. So, I mean, my ultimate low target would be that 31,500. And let's see, which is 17-18% from the high down to there. Now if we take just this range up here, you know, since it's low that we put in right there, we broke through that first pullback and then we've been headed up ever since. That is still 15%. But I want you to understand what it is that triggered this short. I mean, the bearish signals we've had for a while, but it's the daily candle breaking through this repeat resistance line, wicking back below, and then retesting it, and then the confirmation will be a engulfing candle. Or this is the highest candle breaking the low of this candle, the low of the high bar. Would be a solid reversal signal. So, I mean, have we seen any of those yet? I mean, here we did. Here was the highest candle, and we broke the low. Yeah, because here's the highest, never broke it. And finally we broke it there, and no reversal. Here's the highest candle, there's the low. There, we broke it. But you can see this heavy chop. I mean, big candles both directions. You know, everybody's pretty much wrecked. So now we're looking for an engulfing candle to the downside and a move to the downside. And the reason I still remain bullish is because, I mean, if you go out onto some of the higher time frames beyond the daily, let's look at the 2-day. You know, this money flow is just barely even getting into the green. You know, I mean, we could be kind of trending down, and well, I mean, this is a bull run, so I mean, yeah, I mean, it would be lower. It is divergent. Money flow is only right here, and when price is right here, money flow is right there. I don't see any real nice curvature in these waves, aside from the potential for this. You can kind of see this curvature to these waves, you know, potentially coming to the downside. And let's see. So if we look at the 2-day, you know, obviously this high right here is way lower than this high. These waves are the same height. Let's look back once and see in our massive bull run uptrend what our average. Well, here let's go a smidge here. Let's look at the weekly. So I mean, this weekly looks like it's getting pretty close, pinching off. I mean, this money flow is still coming up nice and good. There's no bearish divergence or anything here. One thing I like about this weekly, same thing, you can kind of follow the curvature of these waves, you know, where you would expect the top kind of somewhere up in here, kind of like right here. mean, look at this right here. Here's your top, you know. Then you got your double top on the weekly with divergence and a slightly higher high. But I mean, look what you got. Trigger wave after trigger wave. Money flow coming up. Let's see. So the weekly, I mean, looks like it's ready to clip off, you know, but does that mean that this whole uptrend is over? I don't think so. I mean, I think we're going to see something like this and head on up to that 48,000, and then maybe we'll sit here and bounce between this 32K and 48,000 area for a while and head on up. Maybe it just keeps going. But one more thing I want to take a look at is, let's go back to our past uptrends here. So I mean, here we were in the midst of a downtrend. Here we're in the midst of a sideways trend. You got this uptrend and the sideways trend. You got this uptrend and this downtrend. And here we were just in solid uptrend, you know, ever since COVID low. So let's look at some of these drops here and see how big these were. We've got 20%. You know, and this is in 1 week. These are 1 week candles. Boom, 20%. Here's 1 week. 17%. Now look at this guy. You know, came way down there and then went way up there. And it even retraced it. Did it twice. I mean, here, I mean, just this drop alone, 15%. The real drop, going from this high here down to here, I mean, that's a whopping 30%. Let's go right here. %. It's pretty nice drops, you know. Some pretty nice drops. Now we're in our sideways market. $26 or 25%. You know, and then we started our downtrend. Let's go back to, let's say that we're in this part of the cycle here, where, you know, we had our big bear trend coming down. You know, bull run, bear trend, and then sideways market. You know, here's the top of the rally, and then we just kind of went sideways as we were moving up. Let's say that that's where we are. You know, we've hit the bottom of our bear trend, and then now we're making this first long push up. Bottom of our bear trend, first long push up. And let's look at this uptrend looks. See what size drops we got here. Here's the high of that candle. That range is 13%. Let's see here. This one. 18%. Okay, look at this nasty weekly wick up here. Big old spinner candle. Came down and closed right there. 20%. So yeah, I mean 15, 20%, you know, kind of seems to be the average. To even in our current uptrend, if we just took the most recent price action, price history, 20%, 22%. 20%. I mean, left and right, you know. Every single one of these we've looked at is 15, 20% corrections. But the trend, I mean, still keeps going up, you know. I still think we got one more nice rip here before we kind of end up in this territory. You know, I'm not saying we're going to get this here like what we got here, but I mean, it can't just keep going up forever. I mean, maybe, you know, maybe it just keeps going. If you look at these tops, you can can almost spot a little bit of curvature there. But I think up, getting ready to pinch off. You know, here the weekly pinched off, and we did this nice 15-20% drop. It just got this little tick down, you know. Then the weekly came up here, and that weekly clipped off, and down it came 15-20%. Here we had bearish divergence on the weekly, and what happened? Another 15-20% drop. So our weekly's about ready to clip off, you know. If we just looked even at every time that that weekly clipped, leads to pretty much a 37%. Oh yeah, that was the rejection off the top. When we broke this trend line running up there, big drop, December 12th, I believe. Let's see here. So here's a weekly. Yeah, they're all 15-20%. So that's all I'm getting at. You know, the average drop in Bitcoin seems to be about 15-20%. You know, looks like happens very frequently right around when this weekly clips, which it looks like it's going to clip, but a positive thing on the weekly for a continuation to the upside, like I was talking about earlier. Look at the inverted shape to your VWAP right there. Couldn't make that up if you tried. I think she's still bullish. Head on up, but I'm in a short trade, and I will be looking for the same kind of bullish signal down here. This price going to come down to our other level, just slightly higher, where it's only a 15% drop instead of a larger drop there. So right in here at this 33,000, you know, one of these key levels, what I want to see is I want to see price come down, wick below it, come back up and retest it, claim it as support, and move on with our oscillator now down here. Money flow deep in the red, maybe creeping, just starting to creep up this way at a key level. And then you get down in your smaller time frames, like your hourly and less, and you look for those sniper entries on the same thing. But hey, if you like this kind of content, TA, hit the like button, share, subscribe. You can join our free Discord where you know, we talk about trading every day, what trades we're in, you know, myself, others, what we see, and nightly AMA charting most nights at 8 p.m. Central. There should be a link in the Discord. But until then, trade well.